digest. From lane to the new shining ground, echo chants where the legends are found. Heroes carved in the heart of time, we march on through grit and grime. Oh Tottenham, Tottenham till I die. Raise the banner, let it fly. Through the rain, through the fire, this is my club, my only desire. Oh Tottenham, Tottenham till I die. Raise the banner, let it fly. Through the rain, through the fire, this is my club, my only desire. Echoes of King and Greaves in the air. Every goal, the sound declares. Heartbeats pound like a drummer's song, marching forward, fierce and strong. We're the ones who rise in the clash. Numbers running in a white shirt dash. History burns in the roaring crowd. Every game we scream it loud. Oh, I'm Tottenham, Tottenham till I die. Raise the banner, let it fly. Through the rain, through the fire, this is my club, my only desire.
Yes, guys, welcome to THFC to a Die Home, past, present, and an exciting future of our history of where we used to be. Rain is on his way. He's running a few minutes late, and joining me also, joining us from stateside footy for this to give his thought on the game is Steve. Look, guys, I'm going to start off. Look, I don't know where to go with it. I really don't. I just want Thomas Frank and I want him out. Now, there is a poll in the chat that will go on. And the basic question is, do you want Thomas? I've actually written it wrong, but I meant to say, do you want Thomas Frank to be sacked tonight? Instead I put, do you want Top to be sacked tonight? I think they knew what I meant. Anyway, 75, 67, 67% say yes, 33 be no. I will redo the poll. Because I can't have that up there, and I will redo it properly. So yeah, but how are you, Bud? Look, bad night.
I'm frustrated.
Out the FA Cup. Yeah, I think that's the word from everyone, isn't it?
Yeah. You know, I love the FA Cup, and I love the history and tradition within the FA Cup, and I get it. It's modern football, and coaches sometimes chuck off some of these domestic competitions. But you know, for Tottenham Hotspur, whose season is literally slipping away, this was our last opportunity to win a trophy and at least gain some consistency when it comes to European play. And then we have a first half that was absolutely non-committal. It was anything but front football. It was anything but carrying a sense of urgency. And then, then the half, we get to the half, we're down 2, and, we were so wide open and we were so easy to cut right through. And, to concede 2 in the manner that we did, kudos on the players for coming out and just giving it a go. Me personally, I kind of think this seemed to be in the boat where I think the players just threw out the game plan and said, all right, listen, we have to get back into this and we're going to give it a go. And sure enough, they played a very good second half, but again, too little, too late. It was a tale of two halves in a match where you absolutely could not have that type of performance at all. And that was my overriding comments this morning when we were over on the Irish Hotspur, where it was like, listen, if there was one game to release the handbrake, it just give it a go from the opening whistle. This is it. Because if you don't and we lose it, that's it. That's it. And, Thomas Frank, again, just could not resist, playing his style of football, which is, anything but front-footed football. And here we are out of the FA Cup. And it sucks, man. I am literally frustrated with today's performance.
Yeah, I'm frustrated too. Look, I know there's a lot of people saying that Thomas Frank won't be sacked tonight. He'd be sacked in the week. And like Philip says, the second half might keep him a minute. I want him sacked tonight. I want him sacked tonight, and I want him gone now. I don't care about Villa. I really don't give a shit about Villa. I don't care about how they played or anything. It's all about Tottenham. It's all about how we played tonight. It's all about how we went about it. And we gave them all the time and all the pressure in that first half. There was no fight, no desire, no passion, no nothing. And they just went out there and stood there. And Villa thought, oh, this is a training session for us, lads. And I was impressed with Villa and some of their interchanging in the first half. If you look at it, it was all quick one-touch football. And we parted like the Red Sea. Like Moses at the part of the Red Sea, we parted. And to go 1-0 down was bad enough. The killer punch was going 2-0 down, where again we just stood there and did nothing. Thomas Frank, wherever it was said at half-time, I don't think the players listening to Thomas Frank anymore. I really don't. Yeah. And I think the fans sort of said, right, we need to play our part, and they did, and fair play to them. They got behind the team, they got behind the players. But look, Villa maybe the referee was poor. Maybe we could blame the referee. Maybe we could blame for Villa for being, cheats or time wasters. But we can't. We can't do that because our own performance was so pathetic in that first half. We could not get any lower. And if you needed any evidence that these players are not playing for Thomas Frank, watch that first half, Steve, because I swear to God, they were not playing for Frank. And I don't think they were playing for Frank in the second half either. I get it. Look, I'll get your thoughts then again to the chat. And I have redone the poll, by the way, as well. So do give that a go.
Yeah, the issue with the first half was there was no intent of getting forward. It was literally playing off the wings, playing it back, recycle. And the only one time where we actually took advantage to try to get forward, Javi Simmons got into a central area and made a nice little flick, but unfortunately Randall Kolo Muani was chalked offside. On top of the fact that we lost Richarlison again, it looks like to a hamstring injury, and it like when it rains, it pours. The interesting thing is, at the half, as the team was walking off, you saw, I don't know, it was on your broadcast, but it was on mine. They panned up to the executive box, and it looks like Johan Lang and Vinny and some of these guys were absolutely fuming, and they were on their phones. And after that happened, here's the thing, man. Credit to João Palhinha for his performance in the second half.
Oh yeah.
Credit to Mickey Van de Ven, Wilson Odegaard for getting the goal, because they turned it on in the second half. They were actually giving the home fans a reason to get behind them. When you saw that home crowd in the second half, you're like, oh man, I don't know how you felt. I was starting to get pumped up, and I was starting to get energized. I was like, you know what? I was like, this kind of feels different. And I was like, I was on the edge of my seat, and I was like, oh my God, we're actually pinning Villa back for a good portion of the second half. And I was like, oh my God. Like, this is what this team looks like when they're actually playing together and they're playing inspired football. I was like, oh, okay, so I guess it's not the players. That's all I'm saying.
No, it is. Rain, look, thanks for sorry. I cocked up. Rain thought I was going up one time. I brought it forward because I was so angry. I wanted to get, and I'm glad you actually got me to put it back, because I've calmed down a bit, Rain. Oh, is he gone again? He's gone again. Well, Rain gave me the chance to calm down and actually think a bit. He's been offered a contract. Oh yeah, very funny. Very funny. My mate just sent me Thomas Frank has been offered a 10-year contract extension. Yeah, very funny. Yeah, you can see all of them coming in. Look, let's get Rain in. You're right, bud.
My bad. Yeah, my bad. I wasn't kicked.
Now, thank you for making me calm down and calm down a little bit later, so I won't be ranting and raving. So I appreciate that. Very quickly, just big up. This is from Change for Tottenham, put up about 10 minutes ago. I can hear you. Can you not hear us?
I can. I'm getting sort of in and out volume. I think it might be to do with my headphones. I'm using a new computer. Just crack on. Don't ignore me.
Just hit it with a hammer. Do a Jeremy Clarkson style. Get a hammer and hit it. That seems to work for him. Maybe he could work that for Tottenham. Hit it with a hammer. Hit the whole club with a hammer. Maybe that might work. Jeremy Clarkson, new Tottenham chairman, big Chelsea fan as well. Yeah, so Change for Tottenham have now put out this. If you'd like to protest against the clear incompetence of the board and another disastrous season, join us before the West Ham game. Guys, we were trying. I know you've reached out to Billy. I know you don't know Mo. I know you've reached out.
Don't mention it again. He's a very busy guy. Let's not mention it again. We you know I haven't actually asked Billy. So let's just leave it.
What I was going to say was,
let's leave it as it is.
No, I'm going to finish what I was going to say. I'm going to try to reach out to him, see can we get them to come on.
Oh.
If not, I know they're busy, but that's what I was going to say. So don't jump on just think I was going to say something else. But they are going to protest about the West Ham game, something they should have done today. But they are. So that was out about 31 minutes ago. I have reposted it on my X page. So do look out for that if you can. Let's get a few people in. Big up to I'm gonna say, I'll go back to the beginning. Big up to Matthew, become a new member. Thank you so much. Big up to John. It says big up and Rain. Big up to Ryan. Big up Dermo and Rain. What's the weather like? It's cold. Steve says it's snowing, unfortunately. Big up to Giant Dermo. You had that. I don't know. Dermo, you had that from your source. No, that was from We Are Tottenham. That's from Change for Tottenham. Well, I'm franking still. Fair play to you. I think you're the only one who is franking still, but fair play to you. I would. Oh, okay. I will say, I will commend your dedication to Thomas Frank. I do you know what? I'd say fair play to you. Steve. I mean, he's sticking by his guns, though, Ryan, isn't he? Fair play to him.
Yeah, last year he was literally on his edge of the seat and would scream at the heavens and earth how much he wanted Ange Postecoglou out. And this year, fair play to him, he's the only one that's sticking by his Danish homie. So, kudos to you, Ryan.
So I'm in exactly the same place. I'm in exactly the same place, Dermot. So I've had to take my headphones off and I've switched.
Oh no, you're grand, bud. You're grand.
Okay, cool. I'm in exactly the same place. I think that first half, there was absolutely nothing to do with Frank. Absolutely nothing to do with him whatsoever. I think Tell giving. I heard you on stream saying about Tell. Yes, he showed. He showed effort. But he was giving the ball away, like all of the rest of them. When they cut, we were giving the ball away going forwards, and it was driving Xavi nuts. It was driving Xavi absolutely potty that the ball was being given away. And then when they cut through us for that first goal, the awareness amongst our players that they watched the frigging ball.
I know.
And they've got no awareness of what's going on around them. And do you know what? That comes from inexperience. That comes from getting players who don't have the experience, don't have the know-how to actually do what they need to do.
I agree.
Yes, we were playing a back three in that first half, which should be fine. But for the I can't remember who it was who scored the first goal for Villa.
Buendia.
Yeah. He was completely free. It was completely free on their left-hand side or on our right-hand side. No one was tracking him. It's very easy. It is actually quite a simple thing. Yeah, it's this.
Yeah.
It's literally you're looking over your shoulder. You're taught that. You're taught that. I was taught that in school, right? In school, not academies. And do you know what? I didn't play a lot of football at school, right? I didn't play a lot of football at school at all. I played football outside of school. You learn that in the fucking park. These guys are need to they need to look at what they're doing and realize where their deficiencies are. A manager cannot make a player have situational awareness. It is 100% personal responsibility. A manager cannot pass the ball to another Spurs player. That absolutely is to do with player quality. And then the second half, they come out and they really get going. I think a lot of that was to do. Well, what I know is that the stadium picked up, and then the performance picked up. So the players, the fans started singing like we so often do. Yeah, we get lambasted by the players. The amount of times that our players have delivered dire performances, and our fans actually sing, right, is quite remarkable, and it needs to be called out. The fans are not the problem. We do need to keep going, but the fans lifted the players today, and then the players responded in that second half, and the players responded with effort, desire, and being direct. But there's still there's still a lack of quality. You cannot. You can raise somebody by a half or 1 point in a 10-point scale, but you can only do it so often, and you cannot do it regularly.
But hold up now, Rain. Here's the thing, right? Then what's the excuse for the second half? Because it's the exact same squad that ended the first half, that started the second half, and we were actually able to progress the ball through the center parts of the pitch, right? The same things that we couldn't do in the first half, we were able to adjust and do that in the second half, and we were actually able to get into dangerous spots to be able to even get one back, let alone challenge to put the ball in the net to try to find an equalizer. The things that we couldn't do literally 20 minutes prior, we were able to do it. So I guess the question I have is, okay, well, what changed? Number one, but also this is exactly why I think that I'm out on this one, is because it is a style of play that is predicated on possession and ball movement. And when you look at positioning, when you look at the position of where we start the game, we don't have players in a position where we can actually progress through center pitches, which is why we're always stuck on the wings, and it's easy to defend us. And the things that changed in the second half is we actually kind of ditched it, and we actually went far more direct in the second half. It almost felt like whatever the game plan was, it was scrapped at halftime, and they were like, "All right, let's just get a go," because we can't continue to play this game where we're going to get shelled 4-0.
What was the score? What was the score first half, Steve?
2-0.
And second half,
yeah,
we won that one.
I'm just asking you.
Even with all you've said, and let's be clear. Villa went into energy conservation mode as well, right? So it's not a Villa we're doing exactly the same thing in the first and second half. They went into energy conservation. Thank you.
They sat back then in your words
in conservation mode in the second half, and that is good play. And actually, Emery, I will say this: Emery does in-game management like a pro. Yeah, bringing on Watkins at exactly the right time and influencing the game. But there's still a lack of quality in our team, even with all that effort, even with trying to get the ball forwards better, we still lack the quality to actually impact the game, to get the ball into the box and put the ball into the back of the net. So we can change. We can be, we can show that little bit more quality, but we still need the ability to put the ball in the back of the net. And we had exactly the same problem in the second half that we had in the first half, which is player quality and the ability to actually deliver. I think to be brutally honest, the biggest change in the second half was not how Tottenham were playing; it was how Villa were playing.
Villa allowed us to play. Basically, what you're saying.
Villa went, okay, we're up, and then halfway through that second half, Emery brought on Watkins so he could hit us on the break.
Yeah,
because he's so smart.
I don't know, man.
I don't know. We were far more direct. I do feel getting the goal did give us a bit of a boost. I do feel when Odegaard did score that, we had a chance then, didn't we, straight after that Odegaard. Well, I will agree with you, Rain, and I think you hit a point, is if you look at the quality of the players, that falls down onto the board, that falls down onto the transfer, why we should be doing better transfer business than buying these older quality players. You've been quite consistent on this over the last couple of shows where you were saying, I'm trying not to put words in your mouth, by the way, but I think you're trying to say we need to buy more quality than quantity. And I think as a transfer, this is where the last couple of years of a transfer window has now come back to bite us in the arse. Thomas Frank, for me, I think you could sack any manager, but you know yourself, the cheaper option is sack managers than sacking players. I just felt tonight, first half was a disgrace. Second half, I think you're right. Villa did go in, sort of went 2-0 up. We're going to sit back a little bit here, and Tottenham, that gave Tottenham the space and the time to get onto them, attack them. I do feel us getting a go back did give us a bit of a boost. I do feel Palunia was probably immense that second half. He knows what it is to win. You look, why I was praising Tell was the only one when he got the ball, he was trying to attack. Yes, he did give the ball away, but I thought he wasn't as bad as some people said. I thought Odegaard played good in the second half. I thought Xavi took the game by the scruff of the neck in that second half. But it's just not good enough. It's just not good enough. And you know the manager will pay it with his job. Look, the referee I thought was poor tonight, and Villa's time wasting, and then was atrocious too. Where are you on the referee?
Fulton. I cannot.
Yeah, I know you were saying it in my chat.
Absolutely, I can't remember the game that he did for us before. Was it the Liverpool? I think he might have done the Liverpool game. He is absolutely abject referee. He is the type of referee. If he doesn't see it, but he sees somebody goes down, he gives a free kick to them. He's like without any kind of awareness that he is absolutely atrocious. He's atrocious. Look, Steve, I just say, mate, I'm not disagreeing with you. What I'm saying is, I think we were doing roughly the same thing in the second half as we were in the first half. It's just that we were able to do it 10 or 15 yards further up the pitch, and so it's easy to be more direct when you're playing that much further up.
Well, so in the first half, we weren't pressing with the same determination as we were in the second half. We were allowing Villa literally just to come on the ball and accelerate up the pitch whenever they absolutely wanted. In the second half, we actually pressed with intensity, on top of the fact that João Palhinha became an absolute midfield monster in that second half, and we were actually getting the ball over and getting turnovers in very advantageous positions. Instead of passing the ball back, as we saw in the first half, the ball was progressing forward, and it actually ended up being one touch, two touch, and then try to get the ball into the box and try to do something in that second half. Whereas in the first half, we had one opportunity that was chalked offside from Rando Colomwani. But here's what I will say, and I'm going to play devil's advocate for you, Ray and Dermatron, because you mentioned quality. Pedro Porro is a regular starter in the Spanish national team. Christian Romero plays for a World Cup winning side, and he's a regular starter. Mickey Van de Ven and Xavi Simons play for the Dutch national team, and they're regular starters. Destiny Udogie is in the Italian squad. João Palhinha is in the Spanish squad. Betancourt is a starter for Uruguay. And it's like a lot of these guys are regular fixtures for their national team, high-level national teams. And it's like, I don't like to buy, like, I can't buy the fact that we don't necessarily have quality. Where I will say is we just don't have enough of it. Because I actually think that the foundation for a good team is there. It's the areas where on our wings right now we have two French U21s. We actually, you get what I'm saying. It's like there's certain positions where we just don't have enough quality in order to really facilitate the thing that we are actually trying to do. But to sit here and say that it was because of a lack of quality, it's like, come on, man. It's like you look at the team, you look at the players that we have, and you look at the national teams they play for. It's like, come on, man. I can't buy that for $1.
No, I agree. And I think, Rain, you're spot on by what you said. It was very good analysis of the game, actually. I think if you could sum it up in one word, was Villa let us come back into it. And I think watching it, I think I get too much passionate into it, and I know you do too, but you have the inset of watch. Look, big up to Hotspur. Hi guys, what happened? I didn't watch. I went to play pickleball. What is pickleball?
Well, El, congratulations for you. You did the right thing today. You did
What
the
is
right
pickleball,
thing.
Mrs. Sean?
Pickleball.
Oh, it's mini tennis.
Portuguese, yeah. Sorry, Portuguese.
Okay.
My point still
Mrs. Tron knows everything. She's a walking encyclopedia, that woman. She really is. But there you go. It's little tennis, basically. Well, big up to you. But what happened? Could you describe the game in one word, Rain? Just one word.
Frantic.
There you go. Big up to Elspeth. Hope you. Philip, yes, probably. Sorry if I'm moving them too quickly. I apologize. But he says Villa conserved energy by falling about the place every 5 minutes.
And do you know what, Philip? Do you know what, Philip? It's something that we are really, really, really bad at. I go and I watch these teams who come to visit our stadium, and I watch them buy free kick after free kick. Liverpool are amazing at it. Klopp era Liverpool and Arteta era Arsenal are absolutely. They must practice it. They must, because they are so good at it, and we are awful. Really, really, really bad.
Yeah,
but
the referee was a Villa fan.
We never, ever, ever get the rub of the green. Ever.
I do. Do you know what? And it does say Villa were uncomfortable. They looked uncomfortable in the second half, Villa. I thought we were better. And I think we do deserve. So I know Villa were when you were saying, Rain, but I think some Spurs players, Xavi deserves credit. Palunia, for me, deserves credit in that second
100%.
half.
Yeah.
I think Van der Ven was very good as well, by the way. And how good was Danso tonight? Danso, for me, went under the radar. But I thought he looked very comfortable in that second half. And him and Van der Ven looked a very good pairing for me.
That goal,
in that second half.
That first goal for Villa, as was it McGinn that was playing forward? Danso bit as Bundier made that little outside overlap right there, and Danso lost the spacing. But that being said, outside of their first goal, I would say that Danso had a pretty good showing. By the way, here's what I will say: I want to actually congratulate Dominic Solanke for returning to the pitch there at the last couple of minutes. It was nice to see Dominic Solanke get back out there as somebody that has chronic injury issues. I know, and the reason why I don't play sports anymore is because I couldn't stay healthy. I know what it's like to actually have to rehab. So from that standpoint, congratulations to Solanke getting back on the pitch. It's probably been a long journey for him.
It has.
I don't think we can discount the impact that the fans had on that second half.
Oh no, I was just about to touch on that.
Yeah.
I thought the fans were fantastic second half. I thought they were brilliant before the game. The fans can only react to what's on the pitch. Fans can only give so much. And when there's a game going on, the fans need the energy from on the pitch to give them the energy to keep going. And I just felt tonight the Tottenham fans did everything they could the game was dead in the first half, but that second half, something within the fans' psyche went, no, if the manager ain't gonna do it, we're gonna do it. And we're gonna manage this team. And I just think they did. I think the fans actually took the job off Thomas Frank. We're gonna manage this game. And I think the players react. I mean, Van der Ven apparently is quoted as saying the second half was on us, the players. I think the players are not listening to Thomas Frank, and then they're saying, "Well,
we don't know that. We don't know. We don't. We're all
Apparently.
saying that the second half was better, right? And for all we know, that was because Thomas Frank got them in the dressing room and went, "What the f are you guys doing? You need to. I want you to play like this. This is the way that you should be playing." And now they come second half. We don't know which is true. We don't know if they're not
We don't
listening to
know.
Thomas Frank or whether Thomas Frank got them in at half time and went, "Guys, you need to be doing this," and then they went out and did it. What I thought it was quite funny before, just like on about 40 minutes, you were saying the fans are leaving already.
Yeah.
And I reckon, yeah, Frank will be drowning in sorrows. I reckon a lot of the fans went, "Do you know what? Let's go and have a drink. Let's go and have a drink." And then in the second half, maybe we saw the impact of the fans, going having an extra drink by leaving a little bit early in the first half.
Hey, Rain, can I actually ask you a legit question? Because I actually happen to like your commentary. I think you got a great personality. What is it about Thomas Frank that you absolutely like?
It's not that I like Thomas Frank. I got beef with Thomas Frank. It's Steve. It's that I have a very strong belief in looking at who has personal responsibility for their individual actions. And for me, Thomas Frank's job is to put the right players out and have them playing in an appropriate way. But once they're out on the pitch, it's then up to the players. And you know what? Sometimes a manager can send you out, say, play pragmatic football, but within 5 minutes, a player or the group of players needs to have the wherewithal. Do you know what? Ange got this right. Ange absolutely laid into this. He said, "I want the players to be able to manage the game, to be able to manage the situations." And if you look back in time, right, the great captains, the Roy Keanes, Tony Adams, the John Terrys, they managed the game on the pitch. Do you remember, Dermot? They always used to say,
Yeah.
Sir Alex Ferguson managed the club, but Roy Keane managed the dressing room.
Yeah, I did.
He was his voice in the dressing room.
It was the same back, wasn't it, to Keith Birkinshaw and Steve Perryman or Graham Roberts? They used to have a conversation every Sunday after the game, win, lose, or draw. And there'd be a conversation between Keith Birkinshaw and Steve Perryman to work out how we're going to manage. And Keith Birkinshaw always said, Steve Perryman was my manager on the pitch. But you had players like Graham Roberts or Paul Miller and players like that. Or you had players like in the 90s of Robbie Keane or Ledley King and players like that could lead by example. We don't have that at Tottenham. Pagliuna's the only one I think would lead by example. Mickey van der Ven's another one. I think Romero does, but I think he's too reckless. I think Vicario just blames everyone else for everyone. Yeah. I think Oro is sewn up his own tree. Blaming the fans for everything. I agree with you. Yeah.
So for me, once they're on the pitch, I'm looking at what the individual players are doing. That's what I'm looking at. And I'll give you an example of something where I do have a beef about Frank. And actually, I mentioned that Emery doing a really good job of it. Subs is the manager's primary instrument of influencing the game. It's the one thing he absolutely has agency over. He can't tell a midfielder to pass it forwards. He can't tell a striker to shoot rather than control and turn around. But what he can do is take a player off and put a player on. And I don't think Frank does that very well at all. Lebris did it brilliantly at Sunderland when they came to us. If you go and have a look, he managed that second half, tick, 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 tick. And Frank brought our players on at 88 minutes. And it's just like, dude, you need to be looking at yourself. So that's where I am, Steve. I'm looking at. I believe that the players have responsibility once they're on the pitch, whether they're 18 or 38.
Right.
And that's what I look at.
I just don't like the way that he has his hand firmly on these players, right? There is a specific style in which a player has to play a specific position. It almost feels like these players are in a box and they look uncomfortable trying to tactically do what he's asking them to do. I feel like for the roster we have, the tactics just don't fit the players, and I feel like because of it, he is kind of withdrawn a little bit to the point where he's getting even more conservative as these losses pile up. And so what we saw up until that first Bournemouth game is like a thing of the past.
Yeah, and my answer to that is get different players.
Yeah, I would love it.
That's my answer to that, because I don't think these players really did it for Ange. I don't think they did it for Conte. I don't think the players that we had did it for Jose, right? And admittedly, there have been a lot of different players, but the one thing that spanned all of that is terrible recruitment.
Yeah, I agree.
All of
that's where you and I definitely agree on it. Yep.
I agree as well. I think that is spot on. Big up Kev Willem. Hi, Dermo. Hi, everyone. Before kickoff, I predict the usual format. We will be chasing at the end of the game, losing. This is the event, a repeat event. I'm sick of it. Too little, too late. I agree. Big up to Queen Ellie. Hopefully, we get the equal lead. Big up to Ellie. Hope you're doing well. Big up to, I'm going to say, she says, I agree. We do have a foundation for a good team, but also have to build a squad. So let's see what the club do with Thomas Frank tomorrow and what our owners do in the next 2 transfer windows. That's 2. Philip agrees with you, Rain. We're too honest. We need to employ the dark arts.
Yeah.
That's a great one.
And not just employ it, be good at it.
Yeah.
Just go and practice one day a week.
Yeah.
One day a week.
Maybe they should employ Lord Voldemort, and we can Avada Kedavra and get into the dark arts, and we can actually have a go.
This I totally agree with. By Pulunia making captain, there's a person that leads by example. There's a person. I do believe that. We've got so many people in the chat tonight. Big up to everyone. Jad's saying Poch the United knows coming to Spurs. Big up to Daniel. He says, hi, Dermot. Don't know what to say anymore. Neither do I, actually. That's why I'm letting the boys talk tonight, because I'm totally speechless of what I've seen. I'm too angry. I may say something I might regret. Today's a disgrace. Totally agree. No fight. Totally agree. No passion. Totally agree. Nothing. Totally agree. So the fans some fans accept this. Right. I'm going to stop this now. I have a thing about people blaming the fans. It's not the fans' fault. We pay the high ticket prices in Europe. We pay the high ticket prices when it comes to season tickets. Yes, we have a fantastic stadium. Yes, we can go for drinks, and it's better than White Hart Lane, and I get that. And Rain goes to a lot more of the games than me, and he keeps telling me, Dermo, it's better. I get it. But we can't keep blaming the fans. The blame should go on to the manager, the players, and the owners. The owner's job is to give players to the manager to get the best, to make top the most successful team in the country. The manager's job is to put together this team to make it the tactically best team to go out and win football matches for 90 plus minutes. The player's job is to go out and implement what the manager is and his philosophy onto that football pitch. So I think anyone that needs the pie, splits like this: manager, owners, players. The fans are the only ones for me that should be the ones that the club should be apologizing to. We have to sit and watch this week in, week out, day in, day out. This football club is a mess. This football club is in crisis. Rain's been saying it for weeks on this channel. I think we've all been saying it on this channel. The club it's rudderless. It's been rudderless. It's been run by headless chickens that don't know what they're doing. They showed a picture of Charrington, Vinay, Charlie Lewis, and some other idiot, I don't know who he was, sitting there. I think one of them was playing Tetris on his phone. The other one, Charrington looked like he'd rather be at some posh, show in the West End, listen to classical music. Vin, I wish he was still with Arteta and Arsenal. And Charlie was thinking there, I wish my dad sold this bloody club so I wouldn't have to come and watch this crap every week. They're holding our season in their hands and they're not doing it. So I'm sorry. If you want to blame anyone, this is not about you, Daniel. So this is just my rant. Sorry. Blame the football directors, blame the owners, blame the manager, blame the fans. Blame the owners, blame the manager, blame the players, but don't blame the fans. It's not our fault. We're the ones that keep this club afloat with our money for buying the merchandise, for buying season tickets, for following them week in, week out, home and away. We're not the problem. The people that own the club are the major problem.
Well
Right?
said.
Do you want to add to that, Bud? And Steve?
So again, I'm going to come back to agency, right? What is it that the fans can actually do? Yeah. What is it the fans?
That's it.
What is it that we can actually do? What we can do is
not show up.
Yeah, we can't. So it was up.
I said not show up. Not show up. Having an empty stadium for West Ham.
Form of protest is being absent, absolutely, and in times gone by, that's absolutely had an impact. I probably will be protesting West Ham. I probably will be going.
I hope you do. I'd be disappointed if you didn't. I'd be wholly ashamed of you if you did it, Rain. If you didn't go to that protest, I would be wholly ashamed of you. I'd be thinking, what's this?
I'm just gonna put the caveat. I want to see what it is they want to do, because I'm with you, Dermot. When they said we're all going to walk out at half time, they lost me a little bit.
Well,
yeah, no, I completely. I have a real problem with the academy system. David, I think the academy system is massively at fault for the quality or lack thereof of the players that are currently not just in Tottenham but in the whole of the Premier League. When you think about the quality of the players that we had in the 2000s in the world, the Figos, the Zidanes, the Beckhams, right? Even the Beckhams. When you think about the quality of player that even a mid-table Tottenham Hotspur used to be able to get in a Berbatov, a Robbie Keane, right? A Modric, and the quality of player that we and other teams now are now getting. I'm very sorry. And somebody, I was in a WhatsApp chat earlier, and somebody said to me, "Oh, but they're all more athletically tuned." I don't see why it has to be one or the other, right? I don't see why surely the athletic ability is uplifted, but you want to maintain the technical ability. Is there a player in this day and age who is as good as Zidane or Figo were in their day and age? No, there is not.
Or Beckham, or or Paul Scholes, or the Neville brothers, or whatever the case may be. I happen to agree with you.
Messi and Ronaldo have been winning the Ballon d'Or for like 20 years. And why is that? Because we're not producing Messi and Ronaldos anymore.
Can I ask that? Can I just ask you? So I want to ask you a question that way. With Paratici, when he was at the club, he did sort out our academy, and we did do very well under that academy. They won titles under that academy. We had a group of players that came through that we didn't use. We just keep sending them out on loan after loan after loan after loan after loan. So look, I do feel the club are in a mess at the moment. Just on the poll, I'm going to end the poll now because I'm hungry and I want my dinner. So I'm going to end the show in a minute because I am hungry.
Can I just say something?
I just want to quickly give this poll out very quickly. Sorry. Where is it? Where's the poll gone?
Well, maybe Steve can say what he wants to say.
Yeah, you might as well go on, Steve. Waiting for the poll
here's the thing, and you know what? if we want to send all our venom and vitriol to Enoch, fair enough. They've certainly earned it. But one of the things that I would stress for Enoch is act like we're a big club.
Yeah.
At least act like the fact that, you know, our revenue suggests that we are a part of the Big Six. We are a top 10 team in revenue. We print our own money. So act like it. And if that means we're splashing cash and acting arrogant, fine. That's what we should be doing. But the thing about this is I notice trends with Manchester United. And of course, I've never really been a Manchester United fan whatsoever. But what I will say is they have no problem letting a coach go. Even if they sink a lot of money into a coach, if it didn't work out, one of the things that they recognize is if it continues to trend in a downward fashion, their fans will eat them for lunch, and they get rid of the coach. What's interesting about this is Ruben Amorim obviously was not a fit at Manchester United, and they're in a position where they still can actually grab a European spot, but it doesn't matter. Out the door, it does not matter. And then, you know, they replace him with they replace him with the caretaker for a couple of days before they can figure out what happens for the rest of the season. Chelsea did the exact same thing with Enzo Maresca. It's like whatever the case may be, whatever happened behind closed doors, it doesn't matter. Big clubs act like big clubs because the expectation levels are insanely high. And the one thing that I will do is do not put this on the fans for us having expectations because we are a big club. We know exactly what good looks like. Okay, we know exactly what good looks like, and this is not good. And so when we have a run of form where we've only won twice out of the last 20, that is not good. And that's the thing. It's like it's like you can like Thomas Frank all you want, but he was brought in to do a job and to get results, and results have not been there. And he's had 6 months. And he doesn't know what his best 11 is. Even when he had players, he didn't know what his best 11 was. And it was just a continued downward trend to the point where now all of a sudden we are in 2 competitions. We know for a fact we're not going to win. This was it. This was the last competition where feasibly we actually could have won. We know what it looks like. Don't blame us because we have standards and we're holding you to it. The thing to do is act like a big club. Act like a big club and do what you have to do. And if you have to take it off the chin and eat a couple $1 million, fair enough. Fair enough. Because there are caretakers out there that you can hand it off for the rest of the season before ultimately you can make a decision on the future. That's all I got to say.
I think we may slightly agree or disagree on Thomas Frank. Some say give him to the end of the season. Some say he needs to go now. Look, the only ones who can make that decision is the club themselves. So we're going to have to wait and see what the club says. Giant says, Domo, the question regarding your source was about Frank out tonight. I'm waiting to hear back. I have asked the question. Now, I'm seeing rumors all over the place saying there's emergency meetings. Now, don't believe everything you read in X, by the way. Just don't believe. There's plenty of people sitting at home, nothing better to do, just to gaslight under the situation we're in and putting up, I know, being told there's an emergency meeting at Tottenham. As far as I know, there is no meeting at Tottenham yet. I'm waiting for an update. If I do get an update and something significantly is coming out tonight, I will come back on live at I don't care if 1 in the morning. If I have significant news, I will bring it to you first and fastest. Please do not follow and listen to everyone else. If you listen to everyone else, you would be believed that Tottenham have sacked the manager. They have hired Jose Mourinho, and the owners have gone, and it's been taken over by Billy Joe Circus. So please just wait for us. Wait for the channel here. You know we've got a reputation of giving you the news first, fastest, and the accurate news. So please wait for us. We will give you the news as soon as we get it. We're not into fake news. We're not into gaslighting news. We're into giving you proper, accurate, 100%, 42 carat, Del Boy style news. I know I'm not saying I'm Del Boy and Rains Rodney and Steve is Uncle Albert. Now maybe Rains a bit like Uncle Albert during the war.
Quick question for you guys.
Yeah.
Right, because I am absolutely certain that I heard a bit of you're getting sacked in the morning. And let's be clear.
There was. I
Like
had the
Stephen
sound on as well.
like Stephen said, there are tipping points for every position that will trigger an event, and the Tottenham Hotspur fans singing "You're getting sacked in the morning," and a lot of Tottenham Hotspur fans singing "Getting sacked in the morning," I think is probably a trigger point.
Yeah.
Do you think? Because I couldn't tell. Do you think it was Tottenham fans, or do you think it was Villa fans trolling?
I
Fair
think
enough.
it's Tottenham fans. I think it's Spurs fans.
Do you
Look,
think
I
it's a
don't
second?
believe a lot on X. What I read on X, by the way, I get my news from the source, who I trust, who has been good to me. Who's been very trusted, and he's never let me down yet. I've heard it. I had the sound up near the end of the game. I heard a few Spurs fans singing "You're getting sacked in the morning."
I'm gonna ask a couple of my mates who were there.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
ask a couple of your mates who were there. I wouldn't be surprised if there was with the booing. I heard there was big boos at half time. But I think the next 24 hours or 48 hours can be very interesting for Tottenham Hotspur and where we go. If they sack the manager, then they're going to have a plan to bring in an interim manager or another manager to bring him in full time. Does that mean there've already been discussions, say, for example, of Xavi? Have they been in discussion with Xavi? We saw the picture that was doing its rounds on X with Xavi, Paratici, and Vinay. Now, we don't know if that was AI generated. We don't know if that was done last summer. For me, I think the tipping point is Change for Tottenham come out and said there's going to be a protest. We know I did hear, I don't know if it's true or not. Maybe you can confirm this, Rain, when you do talk to your people at the game. If there was Enoch out as well, if there was some Enoch out chants. I thought I heard Enoch out chants within the crowd tonight. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. So maybe if you can confirm that. I do feel the board, once they turn on the board or the board see that the home fans, the away fans are against Frank, the home fans are probably against Frank. I think they're going to do, they probably will sack him. It saves some money this January in buying players, to be honest. That would then, tell me if I'm wrong, if they sack Thomas Frank, that would move all the news away from the board and the transfer windows. It moves the news away from them because all the news is on Thomas Frank and the board and getting sacked. Do you know what I'm getting at, Rain?
Bigger than Frank. It's bigger than Frank.
Yeah, but do you think them sacking Frank would change some fans' attention to him being sacked in the transfer window if they're not going to buy anybody in there?
I don't care. I don't care. If I was the board, I would not give a jot about what the fans think, and they shouldn't. And I've said this before. That would not be my defining KPI to dictate the decisions that I'm going to take. If my plan needs to be adjusted, and all forecasts are wrong the minute they're written,
Sure.
right? So if I need to adjust my plan, it's not because maybe it's not. But I say get in Big Sam, get Big Sam in. He's doing his adverts, right? He's doing his adverts. Get Big Sam in. He'll save us.
You talking about Aladice?
Yeah,
Mr. Aladice, the Italian Englishman.
It doesn't. It really shouldn't dictate what the board are going to do. It shouldn't. It probably will, because they're human beings. But the fact is, sack Frank, don't sack Frank. We still need better players.
We do. I totally agree. I'm just saying, would the board
they're not
do
spending
that
any money? They're just spending money by sacking Frank.
I know they're not spending it, but would the board do that?
Financially, if they're just interested in finances, keep Frank.
You know what would be? You know what would be hilarious? What would be hilarious? And by the way, I actually heard booing at the half and at the full-time whistle. The chance of you're going to get sacked tomorrow could have it started as a troll from Villa fans and then picked up by Spurs fans 100%. I can
Yeah,
see that.
Yeah,
But you know what would be hilarious, Derma, is if that decision was made. Let's just say tonight it was made. Listen, we thought this was going to work. Unfortunately, the results are not there, and this is results business. So unfortunately, we have to let you go. Sorry, take a cop a walk. It would be absolutely hilarious if the interim manager between now and the end of the season ends up being our former manager, Ange Postecoglou. It's funny. It would be ultimate. It would be a full circle moment that would highlight the ineptitude of this board. I don't know, like for some reason it just tickles me pink to think that would be something that would be a Spurs thing to do, to go back to the guy, who engineered 22 losses in the Premier League, but won us a trophy. Can I ask you guys this question? I know, Dermot, you want to end the show, and I want to ask you this question. Last year at this time, it seemed like our fan base was fractured, like split down the middle. It was either you were Ange in or you were Ange out, and there was no harmony amongst the fan base. And it was what it was. It was actually quite. It was actually, for me at least, it was actually quite stressful coming on, because everybody seemed to be shouting at each other. This year, it feels like it's like 90-10 Frank out, and there is like this weird sense of harmony in the fan base. Like it almost feels like, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but it feels like there is a sense of harmony within the 90%, where it's like everybody just is waiting for the other shoe to drop at this stage. And we're trying to support the team the best as we can, but every single week the results go go a wrong way, and it just galvanizes the 90%. Like it's weird. Like to me, this year is just a weird feeling than what we saw from last year.
What's the question, Steve?
That's the question. The question is like, do you guys feel the exact same way, or is this, or am I reading this? Am I reading too much into this?
There's a fracture
to this, isn't there, Rain? There's two answers to that. I think there's my answer.
By the way, I am not advocating the return of Ange Postecoglou. Let's just get that.
Oh, I agree with you. I think it'd be hilarious. I think
it would be funny.
Steve, I'm the type of person who watched, with no personal involvement, the US election in 2024 for pure entertainment perspective. And so I absolutely, and I was gutted when it was over, because it was better than any soap opera that is produced.
Oh, it was.
Could you imagine Tottenham fab breaker, Ange back at Spurs? You'd be falling off your chair laughing. So would I. Right. I think there's two answers to what you're asking about the fracture of the fans, Steve. I think for me personally, watching it from here from Ireland on monitors and games on telly, and trying to get from doing YouTube, I think yes, the fans was just as fractured as they were last season. Rain goes to most of the home games in the Premier League, so he probably would have a different answer to that. He has a more finger on the pulse at home than I do. So for me, I think yes, the fans were just as fractured, if not more, than last season, than they are this season. Rain, I mean, do you have a different answer to that, or would you sort of agree on that? You go to the games.
I do have a different answer. Yes.
I'd be surprised if you did.
I think there's two topics that fans are talking about. And Steve, I'm on lots of different places, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's two topics that people are talking about. They're talking about Frank out. Yeah. And is Frank doing the right thing? Is Frank, can Frank influence our quality, our capabilities better than he currently is? And I think you're absolutely right. I think it's probably 80 to 90% of Spurs fans are either indifferent to Frank, like don't think he's doing things that make it better, or think he's actively making things worse. He has a very high disapproval rating, if I can put it that way, right? But there's another topic which is going around where I think there's almost 100% agreement, and I think this is the major difference to last season, And that's like I've said it today, right? Frank, yes or no, and I'm a relative agnostic, right? Frank, yes or no, everybody agrees that we need better players. And that topic is actually bizarrely unified. Well, actually, it's like you never got 100%, right? So 95 to 99%. That topic is bizarrely helping to unify and patch over that should Frank stay, should Frank leave discussion, because everybody can always pivot back to the okay, you think this, I think that, but we both agree on Z. And if we can both agree on Z, then we can have this difference of opinion because we each agree that you know what, this will happen or it won't happen, but we know that this has to happen.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I no, I agree. I think we would agree. Look, I just wanted to give you the word on the poll. Do you want Thomas Frank sacked tonight? 60% said yes, and 40% said no. There was 144 votes in that, so I think that is a you know the people that have been in the chat tonight. 60% of them want Thomas Frank sacked tonight. Yes or no on this very quickly, guys. Amarin, would you take him if they did dispense with Frank? Would you take Amarin? Yeah or nay? I'll go
Rain?
no. Rain, yeah or nay, bud?
Yes.
See, if I went yes, he would have went no. That's what I like.
See, it's a
See,
tough
you've got
one.
the-
though.
Steve, yeah or nay?
It's a tough one, right? Because I do believe his 3-4-3 is quality, and when he has the personnel in order to pull it off, it's an entertaining front foot form of football. But that's the thing. I don't think we have the personnel in order to do it, and you're going to have to make a commitment with him, and because Enoch is a lip service type of ownership group where they talk big and deliver. I have a feeling it's going to play out the exact same way, and we're going to be having this conversation yet again. See, that's the thing. So for me, it's a no, and I will caveat this by saying that I want to see the end of this rotating manager every 18 months cycle that we're in. I really do. But unfortunately, I think there's only two names that would bring the credibility and the trust back in the fans, and one of them is not available until the end of the World Cup.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I
And-
think there's
and
only
you know
one
what?
man. I think most.
Steve,
Go
sorry,
ahead.
Steve. That is another point that virtually the whole fan base agree. Again, last year everybody was fractured. Everybody had different opinions, and everybody was arguing about everything. But what you're saying right now, again, is something that I think 99% of the fan base agrees with, and that's helping us be somewhat together. Yeah, it's like a family, right? A family never agrees about everything, but they all agree that the family is important. And that's where Spurs fans, funnily enough, bizarrely, that's where Spurs fans are right now.
Yeah.
And I have said it on here, haven't I, Rain, that he's the only one that could probably unite the fan base, and the fan base would give time to fix this team. I think I have said that more than one occasion. But guys, that is it. Look, I don't know what to say. I feel we're at an Ange Postecoglou moment again, where after every game and every defeat, it's just the game where Thomas Frank is going to get sacked.
Yeah.
I just want the club to one way to come out and say he's here to the end of the season, or rip the bandage off We've got to get something from the club, and I want to do a show next week on the ownership and why have they gone so quiet, and we will talk about that because I think you have to. I think you have to talk about the ownership. I think we have to talk about the way that they're dealing with the transfer market. We do have to talk about why they're rudderless and maybe dive into it more into Rain's sort of way. And that's Rain. Probably dig into more what you're saying about there being rudderless, Rain. You work in this sort of environment, if you know what I mean. You work in business, so you have more knowledge than I would. I'm just, I'm more into football where you're more into business. Like, so we will dig into that next week. Very quickly, Steve, where can people find you, bud?
Yeah, you can find me on YouTube at Stateside Footy 27 for all your YouTube enjoyment. And of course, I think I'm going to come back tomorrow with another Tottenham stream as we are going to talk just a little bit about what's going on here at the halfway mark and what a second half could potentially look like under Thomas Frank or under a caretaker. So that's going to be tomorrow. You can find me on TikTok at Stateside Footy, and you can find me on X at Stateside Footy. How about that? Consistency.
Can I just ask you, so
get over to that.
Just very quickly, how excited are you about the World Cup in
I'm fired up. I'm absolutely fired up. The last time that we had this tournament, I was 13 years old. And when I was a kid, that the U.S. men's national team was my club team. I didn't necessarily start watching the Premier League until like 98-ish. But the reality is it was something that I was absolutely encased and entrapped in during the summer of 94. And this time around, the U.S. actually are playing in my hometown. And I'm going to fly back because I have to be there. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and I might even pay the ridiculous ticket prices to get in. But it's something that ever since it was announced, it's been a slow tick down. And when we hired Mauricio Pochettino, I was over the goddamn moon. And I know I'm not going to sit here and say that we're going to win the World Cup, but right now, I would think that everybody is like, as we get closer, the entire country's kind of geeking out and getting bubbled up for this 2026 World Cup. Yeah.
And I think, Dermot, I mean, thinking back to the last World Cup in the States, I mean, that was a great Ireland side, wasn't it? Really, with
really good Ireland side.
Do not rub it in. Don't.
We do
have the. Do you know what? I'm looking so much more to the international games coming up in March than I am looking to the Tottenham game next week. Give me Ireland more. Give me Troy Parrott more. We're going to the World Cup. Yes, you will see all them Ireland playoff games live on this channel as we follow. Can the boys in green get to USA again like they did in USA 94? Ryan, where can people find you, bud?
Here. And you'll find me on various. I'm here 2 or 3 times a week at least minimum, and you'll find me on various other channels throughout the week, sharing my opinion.
Thanks again for coming on tonight, Ryan, and for your help today, bud. Really appreciate it. Look, we do have play ratings tomorrow. That'll be out at 4, so we do have the play rating show, so that should be interesting. Doing the play ratings for that tomorrow. Then we're having not on tomorrow night. We're gonna have night off. Monday we will be back with transfer news and look at transfer news. I think Tuesday or Wednesday we're gonna do the owner show with Rain and try to tap into his thoughts on it. And maybe you guys can lead us. Maybe we're gonna have a debate, but maybe you guys in the chat can also get your questions ready because I really want to have a really in-depth talk about this because this window has suddenly become really, really important. But guys, Tottenham lose again. We are out of the FA Cup, losing 2-1 to Aston Villa. Thomas Frank, will he stay? Will he go? Well, we will only know in the next 24, 70, 48, 72 hours. He might be here for West Ham, but my gut's telling me he may be gone by then. And then, look, season's over. Season's over, but we're still in the Champions League. He may be kept because we're still in the Champions League. But on that bombshell, we're going to end it there. But we always leave this to Tequila's ending words of passion, of really pumping the crowd up. So we're going to give Rain the final word. Rain, what is your positive thought of the day to end this stream? To send the Spurs fans out into the night, pumped, happy, and enthusiastic for West Ham coming up next week. What is your word of the day?
Well, my closing thing is
Closing statement.
We all need to stick together. We need to recognise that a massive part of that second half was the fans, and the fans singing and getting behind the team. And no matter what they do, they're transient and we're mostly permanent. So, and we will always be there. So we need to come back to what Steve was saying. Last year was awful with the bickering, and this year we need to be together. We need to and we need to see this through. And there will be sunny uplands at some point. We're too big a club for there not to be.
Mm-hmm.
I agree 100%. Come on.